Now I'll give you a new self. The self, there is a self. You know, of course there's a self, right? There's somebody who's listening. Who's listening if there's not a self? You see, who's talking if there's not a self? There's a self. It's a name. That's the self. It's, you say your name to yourself. That's who you are, is a name that you've placed on multiple, constantly changing parts. On the basis of a mind and a body that are multiple and constantly changing, you say me. I exist. And it's just a name, nominal. Like the Truckee River. Right? The Truckee River. Is the Truckee River a thing or a process? And you are nothing but a process. Constantly changing, multiple part process. Okay? And when we put a name, we say me, I, you know, your name is Marut. And we think, well, there's something that name refers to. Something that name refers to. And it's just an illusion. There is no thing that name refers to. It is a signifier without a signifier. Signifier means a name. Without something that it is naming. There's nothing there that is a thing, an entity, that name is naming. It's just constantly moving process. And the process itself is just a name. The process itself exists only nominally. There's not a real process at all. Real means out there, external, independent, apart from the mind that names it. And everything exists like that. Everything. Everything exists nominally, conceptually, only, and especially who you call you. And this is, everyone should be like, yes! See, you should, you know, no, Nagarjuna says this kind of stuff. He says, the very kind of thing that would make the ignorant feel afraid, the wise hear and rejoice. The very thing that when an ignorant person, you don't have a self, that would give the willies to an ignorant person. For a wise person, they go, yes, no self, excellent. Why? Because infinite potential. Then you have infinite potential. If you changed your concept of yourself, you would change yourself. Because there's only a concept of self. You see? If it's only a name, if it's only a concept, then if we could figure out how to change the concept, how to convince ourselves that we were somebody else, we would be somebody else. Okay? And that's another, now we're creeping up on Guru Yoga again. Do you notice that? Okay? If you could convince yourself that you were the Guru, you see, you would be the Guru. And that's another kind of like dimension of the secret of Guru Yoga. It is to reinvent yourself. To reinvent yourself by first of all constituting an apparently externally existing perfect being in front of you. And then totally identifying with it. Okay? Totally identifying with it. Say, I want to be you. I don't want to be me anymore. Like that Sammy Davis Jr. song in reverse. I don't want to be me. I just got to not be me. Okay? And instead, I want to be you. I just want to be you, Guru. I just want to be you. I just want to be perfect, like you. If we could convince ourselves that we were a perfect being, we would be a perfect being. Because the only being we are is a concept. The only being we are is a concept. Now, that's not going to happen just by closing your eyes and go, okay, cool, I'll just be now a perfect being. See? Right? Well, it doesn't work like that. It says, oh, okay, I'll just, reconceptualize myself here in my spare time. Reconceptualize. See? You learn how to reconceptualize yourself. You create the possibility for reconceptualizing yourself by serving the Guru. By serving the highest thing, by abasing yourself, surrendering yourself, giving up yourself, renouncing yourself. By letting go, you get it. And that's there's a kind of a general karmic principle there. Mr. Karma has kind of an ironic sense of humor. Mr. Karma will give you what you want when you stop wanting it. Have you noticed this in life, kind of? I mean, sometimes it's like he just hammers you over the head with this. I'll tell you a story about this, okay? When I quit my job like 3-4 years ago, I retired from my job. And within a few months, 2-3 months after retiring from my job, they called me up and offered me a promotion. I said, no, I quit. I'm retired. I don't want to work anymore. No, we want to make you a dean. I said, no, I'm retired. I want to be a dean. He says, well, we'll pay you a lot more money. Well, yeah, okay, but I still don't want, yeah, and you won't have to work, only about 1 day a week, and we'll pay you a lot of money. Yeah. All right then. Yeah, and they gave me a promotion, and they paid me a lot of money to come work 1 day a week. It was the first year of Diamond Mountain term. I used to commute from Tucson to LA one day a week, and they paid me all this money to do it for a year. As soon as you don't want it, right? As soon as you give it up, here it comes, you see? And it's kind of like that. There's a little bit of a principle like that. This is why it's so important to detach, you see? To let go. You don't get things by holding on to them. You get things by letting them go and giving them away, especially, right? Letting them go and giving them away. So letting go of you, say your name to yourself, that conception of yourself is the condition of possibility for reconceptualizing yourself. And Guru Yoga is, among other things, a practice in learning how not to be you anymore. How to surrender yourself. So that you make space for something bigger, you see? Create the condition of possibility to reconceptualize yourself as someone else. As a Buddha. As the Lord, yourself. So Guru Yoga isn't, this is very important to understand. Guru Yoga isn't... Guru Yoga is in your highest self-interest. It is in your highest self-interest. If you want to be perfect, stop being you. And Guru Yoga is an exercise in learning how not to be you anymore, to devote yourself to someone else, and to idealize an apparently externally existing being, so that you'll know who to be when you grow up. You see? You'll know who to be. We don't know what an enlightened being would look like until we do what? We see it outside of ourselves, and we go, "Oh, yeah, now I know. Now I know what to do. Now I know what to be. Oh, that's what omniscience looks like. See? Oh, that's what it looks like to have perfect compassion." So then you're training yourself. It's what do you call it? You're an autodidact. Autodidact means you're learning it yourself. You're learning how to be an enlightened being yourself. Auto. That's a A-U-T, not O-T. You're not that self. Not that auto. Okay. Auto. Okay. Automat yourself. You're learning how to become an enlightened being by doing what? By trying to see what an enlightened being would look like outside of yourself, external existing enlightened being, and then you'll know what to do. Then you'll know who to be. Then you will imitatio Christi, they say in the Christian tradition. You will know how to imitate Christ. But first you've got to see Christ as Christ, right? You'll know how to imitatio Guru. You'll know how to imitate the Guru. When you constitute the Guru as a perfect being, you'll know how to be a perfect being. And so it's like that. You're teaching yourself. Teaching yourself the Guru Yoga. Okay?